airport. Now, Prime Minister Edouard Philippe announced the decision to cancel the airport's construction this afternoon. Let's take a listen to him.
Notre-Dame-des-Landes, I see today, is the airport of division.
C'est l'aéroport de la division. La gravité des enjeux économiques,
The gravity of our country's economic concerns, the gravity of its security concerns, require us to stay united in our priorities. The construction of a Notre-Dame-des-Landes airport will thus be abandoned.
sera donc abandonnée.
Now, to tell us more on that story, we're joined by Florence Villeminot. Florence, it's the end of a political soap opera. This has been running since the 1960s.
I know, it's incredible, isn't it, James? Now, this is a huge domestic story here in France. It's come up time and time again since the 1960s. It's really this major saga. You just heard the Prime Minister there talking about this airport of division. Those are quite harsh words for a regional airport. In fact, some people here in the newsroom are thinking, why are we making such a big deal about a regional airport in France? But it's really been this emotional saga. You had these two bitterly rival camps. On the one hand, you had those in favor of this new airport, saying that it was essential for the economic development of this region, of the Great Western region. It was going to boost tourism, and it was essential to unclog the current airport of Nantes, which is operating at capacity. And then you had those staunchly against this airport, saying it was terrible for the environment. It was going to be constructed on protected swampland. It was also seen as a massive waste of public money. French opinion was quite divided on it as well. Recent opinion polls say that a slight majority of French people were actually opposed to building this new airport. But what's interesting is if you ask local people, there was a referendum in 2016, and a majority of local people were in favor of this airport. So lots of divisions over this airport of division, and this saga that's finally come to an end.
Right. Now, President Emmanuel Macron has vowed to make a decision on this within his first 6 months in office, and he made good on that decision being made in any case.
Indeed, because he did act swiftly on this. He had inherited this political hot potato, I guess you could say, from his predecessor, François Hollande, who had announced plans to make a decision on this airport and never did during his presidency. At first, it was unclear what Macron was going to do with this political hot potato, but there were hints because his Minister of the Environment, Nicolas Hulot, a very popular figure here in France, has always been opposed to the airport. So that was a major hint. And another hint came in December when there was a government-commissioned report that came out and presented a solution to this deadlock, essentially developing and modernizing the current airport of Nantes, making it bigger. And it appears that that is indeed what's going to happen now.
Right, and so what's going to happen now? Are there any plans to have a replacement, a plan B for an airport in the region or anything like that?
Well, the government says that, first of all, what's going to happen to the land where this was supposed to, this construction was going to take place, this land will go back to farming. And instead of building the airport, the government is actually going to modernize this Nantes airport that already exists, and also modernize rail networks, etc., to make it a little bit easier to get places, I guess you could say. Now, another question is what's going to happen to the people who have been occupying the land where this airport was supposed to be constructed. They're known as les zadistes because a ZAD is the zone d'aménagement différé. Essentially, well, it was also called the zone à défendre. It was this zone to defend for these environmentalists. Quite a big zone, 1,600 acres, massive zone. About 150 to 200 people have been camped out there for years. And apparently there were cries of joy when the government announced it was abandoning the process. And they have vowed now to open access to the area. They are, however, staunchly opposed to any kind of muscled evacuation, expulsion. And this goes against what the government has been saying, because just recently the government had been saying they were going to get rid of the zadistes, as they're called. And so it seems like the government is backtracking on this decision, seeking a softer, negotiated approach. We will certainly...
Right. Well, I guess with what we've been seeing in terms of dismantling refugee sites and whatnot, there's only so much dismantling a government can probably face in terms of public
so
opinion.
They're going for the softer, peaceful, open option here. And in fact, the Zadistes have vowed a big victory party on February 10th to celebrate. And this is where critics come in and say, look, this is the Zadistes, a handful of environmental activists who have won this massive battle here.
Right. Some will be saying, go get a job. Others will be saying, let them celebrate, whatever it says. It'll remain divisive, I'm sure. Thanks for that, Florence Villeminot.